Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Rodney, and I'm back. And I know that I am really late, really late with um, this review. I was just going to wait until next week because next week is the season finale. But I said, I really didn't have nothing else to do. I kept putting the review off. I kept putting it off and off and off. And when I looked up, I realized it was Saturday. Um, and like I said, it crossed my mind just to wait until like next week, which is again the season finale. But here we are. So sorry. Um, we're not gonna make this very long because again, it's like a week late. So we're just gonna kind of just go over the important parts. I did take some notes, but anyways. So Angie is, as we used to say back in the day, girl, you're clumsy. Angie is accident prone. Every time I look up, Angie is breaking a nail. She's slicing her face. Girl, there's gonna be blood somewhere. Quiet as it's kept. I was like Mary. Mary came around the corner and was like, Angie, did you hurt yourself? Did you hurt yourself again? And then she kind of like rolled her eyes like, ugh. Like, girl, no, but for real. Like, I would probably have the same reaction like, girl. Like, once I realized that you were okay, like, why every time I look up, girl, you bleeding? Like, why? Anyways, Lisa. You know why I like Lisa? I like Lisa because Lisa is the right kind of Delulu. She's not the Delulu that will get you in trouble as far as you denying that you may have an addiction problem, and then we look up, and then, girl, you're on that, that candy camera, that beautiful bean footage, talking about your Thomas Jefferson's concubine. Hey, Karen. She's not that Delulu where you want to address that you might have an addiction problem. Lisa is the right type of Delulu. And what I mean by that is she makes a comment about her loving her makeup girl. I will say I did see a tad bit difference in Lisa's glam, her makeup, compared to other times. She said she wished she could bring the makeup artist back to the US with her. But then she says later in the episode they were leaving to go do a photo shoot. She says that when she walks into a beach club, the people say, "I die for your outfit." Lisa, this is what I be talking about. Girl, and this is exactly why I like to look. I like to tug on Lisa's wig because Lisa, no one has ever. I promise you, no one has. I have, girl, except for the hardcore Lisa Barlow stance, and they just as delusional as she is. I have never once seen anyone put Lisa Barlow in a category of when she has on an outfit they would die to have it. Lisa, I've always said this. Lisa is not a bad looking lady. She never looks a mess. Lisa is always put together. But Lisa doesn't give you anything where you just look at her like she's just this fashionista, if that makes sense. Or like this fly girl. Because you can still look good and you can still be put together, but that don't mean when I look at you, I see a Erica Jane. Or when I look at you, I see a Jenna Lyons. You see what I'm saying? Like, those are the girls that when I look at them, I'm like, oh, girl, they kind of fly. You know? Like, when I look at Dr. Wendy, I'm like, oh, Dr. Wendy is fly. Now she paying for Now she paying for it. I don't know. But that's my girl. But anyway, so, when I look at some of the girls, Dorit before she was broke. Dorit, Marlo, Kenya, Dr. Wendy, Jenna Lyons, Psy from the New Jersey reboot. Like, those are the girls that I look at and I'm like, oh, okay. I've never looked at Lisa, and I don't think anyone has ever looked at Lisa like, oh, you're that girl, that girl, that girl. You never look a mess, Lisa. Lisa never looks a mess. Ever. Anyways, but I haven't seen anything in 6 seasons that just gives me the girl that when Lisa walks into a room, girl, the girls just die for her outfit. But like I said, I like that. That's the type of the Lulu that I like. So they break off into 2 groups. Mary, Whitney, and Bronwyn, and then the other girls. Mary, Whitney, and Bronwyn, they go to lunch. Then the other girls go to a spa. Girl. This is just my opinion. It is not the gospel. Okay, this is just how I look at it. And you can tell me how you look at it. So Whitney is basically talking about a moment that happened between her and Meredith. So Angie, it's something that you do when you go to Greece, where I guess you like they put you. It was a picture that they took in these gowns, right? And I'm gonna try to post the picture on the screen so y'all can see what I'm talking about. So they took a picture. They went to do a photo shoot in these gowns, right? Gorgeous. You know, they took the picture. And Whitney made a comment about Meredith helping her with her dress. She lifted up Whitney's dress. Meredith helped Whitney with her dress, the train of the dress. And so they kind of talked about how with Meredith, you really never know what you're going to get. How it's so up and down, how one day she basically hates you. I'm paraphrasing, but one day she basically hates you, or it appears as though she hates you, and then the next day y'all are back to normal. And then Mary says that she's worried about Meredith. She can see that something is wrong with her. Mary starts crying. So this is the thing. I said this last week. You know, I'm not the type of person that, believe it or not, girl, I don't like to just put stuff on people like that. If I say that you are racist, it's because I've looked at how you move, the things that you've said, the things that have been done, and that's why I've come to the conclusion that you're a racist. If I say that you're a colorist, it's because I've looked at things, how you interact, things that have happened, things that have been said, and then I'll say, girl, I think you're a colorist. You see what I'm saying? XYZ, whatever. If I think you're misogynistic, it's because of this. So I don't like to just throw stuff on people. Even if I call you a Karen, I won't necessarily go as far as calling you a racist. I'll just be like, girl, you got some Karen-ish ways you need to work on, right? I love Lisa Rinna, and the girls know that. But I also recognize that at one point, especially between her and Garcelle, there were some microaggressions that were coming from Lisa towards Garcelle that I saw, right? I don't know if Meredith is an addict. I said this last week that I can see how someone could think that. Because the way that Meredith acts sometimes, right? Meredith does give sometimes the rich white woman who pops pills and drinks at the same time. Even last week when she was in the back of that van and that jaw was moving, I said, oh, baby, that's that coke jaw. No shade. The girls who know what I'm talking about. Okay. When she was in the back of her jaw was moving, I said, ooh, woo, 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 woo. I said, woo, woo, woo. I said, woo, woo, woo. Girl, that jaw was moving. I noticed that. I didn't bring it up, though. But I saw other people talking about it online. A part of me believes that this is Meredith's shtick. Like, I think that for Meredith, a part of her brand on the show is the one who kind of blows up. I'm not making excuses. Just listen to what I have to say, because I have to say a lot. I have a lot to say. I think once Meredith realized, oh, this could kind of be my part of my character, right? The one who kind of blows up. You can leave. I'm disengaging. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like that's a part of what she does on the show. Like, just blow up. And it's kind of like funny. Hee hee ha ha. I do believe that people that have been through things, they are able to recognize signs more than some people who may not have been through that before, right? If you have dealt with family members, friends who have an addiction problem, you might be the person to call out, ooh, girl, I've seen this before. Ooh, I know what this is. I think I might know what this is about. So Whitney has been through this before. Mary has been through this before, currently going through it, right? So they may be able to point out the signs that they feel Meredith is demonstrating that will lead them to believe, especially Whitney, that Meredith has. Because I don't think that Mary quite said that she has an addiction problem. I just think she said she's worried about her. And I think she mentioned also Robert Jr. But Whitney has said, girl, you pop pills and drink champagne. And Whitney has also compared, Meredith to her father. So there is a possibility that they see the signs and so they know. But on the flip side, it's like, and I know this is a reality show and it gets real messy and this is a part of the reality show, right? A part of me does kind of believe, like, girl, if you really thought that Meredith really had an issue like that, would you really bring something like that serious on this show? I get they're on a reality show. I'm just saying. I said all that to say, a huge part of me, I feel like Mary and Whitney are projecting. I do. Especially Mary. I think that Mary is going through what she's going through with Robert Jr. And I think she is putting that on Meredith's shoulders. And I don't think that's right. Because I feel like when we start to go down this road of really trying to, or really having conversations, I'm talking about them, not us. Girl, y'all really having conversations about this lady being an addict based off of really and truly, because your daddy was on that shit, and Mary, your son is, girl, a fucking chimney when it comes to the drugs. Girl, some of everything. You know what I'm saying? Bronwyn then brings up that her and Todd were at dinner. Did she say New York? Did she say they were in New York? I can't remember if they were out of town or not. So her and Todd were at dinner. And she said they ran into Seth. And Seth was having dinner with another woman. She said it never crossed her mind that Seth could have been cheating. However, I guess she's trying to draw a parallel to maybe this is why Meredith is spazzing out. Because now we have Brittany, who mentioned a TikTok. Remember when Meredith spazzed out on Brittany? And I think she had every right to? Girl. And now we have Bronwyn saying, girl, I did see that nigga out with a bitch. Now, I don't know if there was a date, but I just know he was out there with a hoe. That's how I would have said it. I don't know if they was fucking, girl, but I just know he was out there with a bitch. I don't know the whole name. I ain't never seen the hoe. Okay. Ow. But they're trying to draw a parallel. Well, I think Bronwyn is trying to draw a parallel to maybe that's why Meredith is acting a fool, because there may be something there. See, I could believe, again, I don't want to dismiss anything 100% that Meredith could have an addiction problem, because like I said, Meredith do kind of give me, girl, white woman who drink and girl pop pills. Not even white woman, because we saw NECA down to the Potomac, girl, the other season, the girl talking about she drinking champagne with her pills. Ow! So anyways, but I could see that more so being an issue than the alcohol. I could see Meredith possibly having marriage issues again, and that's probably why she's spazzing out. They're also basically trying to make it seem as because Meredith, she acts a certain way and says she doesn't remember. I don't think Meredith is no dumb broad. Okay? I think Meredith remembers what happened on that plane. I think Meredith is just denying what happened on that plane. Okay? I don't think Meredith spazzes out and then just like, oh, I don't remember. I don't remember. No, Meredith remembers. Meredith is on some no face, no case. Meredith is on some, bitch, you ain't got no dirt on me. Meredith is on some, bitch, if y'all ain't catch it on camera, bitch, it ain't happened. So I'm going to deny. And then once y'all slap that beautiful beam footage up, then I might be like, oh, okay, well, girl. Okay, girl, listen. The bitch asked for it. She shouldn't have brought it. She knew I didn't fuck with her. You know, I think that would happen. But I don't think that Meredith spazzes out, or especially on that plane, and she just like, oh my God, I just don't remember. No, I think that Meredith remembers how she cut up. I just think Meredith thinks that there's no evidence. So because there's no evidence, then bitch, I'm gonna deny. And I'm gonna reduce what I did. Or like how she did to Brittany when she said, I'm sorry that you hurt me. What did she say to Brittany? Basically, I'm sorry that you heard me talking shit about you. She still didn't really say, girl, I'm sorry for acting a motherfucking fool. I'm sorry that you heard me talking about you in a negative way. She's gonna say, baby, that married to something else. But that's a lawyer for you, baby. Okay? Anyways, some people called out Bronwyn because, and I understand it, because Bronwyn basically, felt a way about when Lisa brought up things about her marriage. But I think the difference is Lisa and Bronwyn made a pact not to talk about husbands or kids. And then right after they made that pact, Lisa went against the word and then told, was it Angie that night? remember when they all went out after, I guess, filming Rap? They all went to Lisa's bar. And remember she said that Todd was out here basically cheating and farting at the same time. So I could see, so I feel like it's a tad bit different. And even though Bronwyn, it would definitely be looked at as messy. I don't think her delivery, it definitely wasn't as messy as Brittany's. It definitely wasn't as messy as Lisa's. I think the way she delivered it, she did the best she could with putting the information out there to the women without making it seem so messy. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Anyways, so the spa scene. Girl, they do not like Brittany at all. Brittany is an ain't shit mama. We know that. That's not changing. Brittany does not give me, on the show with these women, like she just doesn't give me like Mean Girl. I think Brittany, well, besides that stuff she pulled with Meredith, because that was some fucked up shit. And then she wondered why she got cursed out. No, that's a lie. Brittany does try to manipulate situations and play the victim. She does play the victim. Because that shit she pulled, I don't give a fuck what nobody say. Now I'm about to get worked up. That shit she pulled with Meredith by trying to act as if she was doing something out of the kindness of her heart by trying to tell Meredith that there's a rumor out there on TikTok about Seth cheating on her. Girl, you know damn well you wasn't doing that out of the kindness of your heart. And she admitted, I think she did admit it when her Meredith sat down for the one-on-one. Like you knew that was not out of the kindness of your heart. You were doing it to be messy, vindictive, and get your lick back at Meredith. So Brittany does do shit like that. But anyways, so they're at the spa. And they're in a pool. Anyways, Brittany splashes water on them. When I tell you, baby, the way they acted a fool, I was with Brittany on this one. Girl, y'all were pouring buckets of water on that girl when y'all were on that yacht. She splashed y'all with some water. Girl, the way they was acting like, girl, they just got a fresh perm and their hair was gonna go back to an afro. Girl, that's the way they was acting. Girl, Brittany splashed some water on them and girl, they cut up and act a fool. I was like, girl. After y'all were pouring glasses and jugs of water on this girl on that yacht, y'all have a fit now that she splashed y'all with some water. I said, okay, girl. So after the water incident, they go and put robes on. When I tell you this shit was hilarious to me. Baby, I'm not gonna lie, baby. Lisa was wrapping Brittany up, baby. She sure was. Wrapping. Wrapping her up. Girl, wrapping her up. I said, whoa, whoa, Lisa. And the funniest thing about it, they had to whisper. So, girl, can you imagine? So, okay. So, basically, they bring up Brittany splashing the water. And Brittany basically says that Angie is a hair expert. It doesn't take her an hour. Because Lisa was saying that, it takes her an hour to do her hair, that it takes an hour to do Angie's hair, blah, blah, blah. And so Brittany's response was, girl, she's a hair expert. It doesn't take her an hour to do her hair. Lisa said, well, your hair is synthetic, so it doesn't take you that. Oh, bitch! Oh, I can't even get it out. Lisa told Brittany that your hair is synthetic, so it doesn't take you that long. Brittany said, my hair is not synthetic. Girl. And then Brittany says, y'all are supposed to be my friends. And not one of you asked about if Olivia texts me. Olivia is her daughter. And then she was like, I'm just saying, at least you get to see your kids. I didn't see my kids for 3 years. And then Lisa said, baby, I said, oh, Lisa, girl, y'all about to fight. Girl. Lisa said, that was based on your choices. And you have said to the group you put me in before your kids. Bitch. Did
I lie? Did I lie? Did I fucking
lie? Ooh. Girl. Of course, Brittany. Okay, so this is the thing. Brittany said that she felt like they were using a vulnerable moment, something that she told them about her life, basically to throw it back in her face. Okay. It is unfair that when you share something very, very sensitive with people, they choose to throw it in your face in the midst of an argument. Right? I think that's fair to say. So I do acknowledge that Brittany has shared something about her life that is very, very sensitive. And the expectation is for you not to throw it back in my face if we get into an argument. I think that's fair to say. With that being said, I'm not mad at Lisa for saying what she said because, girl, we've heard you mention the absence of your kids more than a few times. But the part that you're leaving out, if I'm going to be your friend, we have to hold each other accountable and be honest with each other. Bitch, the reason why you ain't talk to your kids on Mother's Day or the reason why you ain't have access to your kids for 3 years because you was putting dick before your kids. So stop bringing up the fact that you didn't have access to your kids like, girl, somebody came and snatched your kids from your life. Girl, no. You put men before your kids. That's why you didn't have access to your kids. Now, Lisa, you shouldn't say it like that because they're friends. But I thought Lisa said it in a way, the nicest way she could probably say it at that time. Girl, the funny thing about the whole situation was the bitches was whispering, right? Like I said. Can you imagine getting into an argument? Not necessarily a heated argument. Not like people yell, but you got to whisper. Here they go. This is it. Girl, all I'm saying is, girl, please don't put it on us that you don't have access to your kids. No. You don't have access to your kids because you put men before your kids. Well, that's what you said. That is so mean. That is so hurtful. Well, girl, I'm not trying to hurt your feelings, but girl, you said that you put men before your kids, and now you're bringing up the fact that you didn't have access to your kids for 3 years. Girl, that's your fault. That's literally what they were doing. Girl, when I tell you the shit was funny as hell. So anyways, they play a clip of Brittany on the bus crying because she hadn't received a phone call from her kids. That's another thing. That's a part of Brittany's delusion. I don't know if she received a phone call later on from her kids, but Brittany, why would you receive a Happy Mother's Day text, phone call from your kids when, at least for the last few years, you've been a horrible mother? You don't deserve, at this point, you don't deserve a Happy Mother's Day text. You don't deserve a phone call. Bitch, you don't deserve a flower, a card, nothing. Okay? But when Brittany was on that bus, girl, and bitch, she was crying. Hold up. Brittany was crying. She had her wig on. Act like this is a wig. Ain't this jacket everything? Because she had her wig on. Bitch, Brittany had that. I mean, she had her hair. You know her hair is long. Baby, Brittany got that hair. Brittany parted her hair on the side and did just like this. When Miss Thing covered up her face, baby, I lost it. Baby, I completely fucking lost it.
It's not that early. I'm sorry.
We're 8 hours ahead.
I didn't do that.
So anyways, later on, Lisa accuses Brittany basically of having a problem with alcohol. She says that Brittany is an alcoholic. See, this is what I be saying. At least they keeping it on each other, and not, even though, girl, Lisa quick to say some trifling shit. Lisa was the same one who said that Sean, participated in circle jerks. Girl, Lisa be saying she didn't get her ass whooped. Girl, now she's saying that Brittany is an alcoholic. I don't like stuff like that because I feel like that really is like, girl, I get it. It's the name of the game. But girl, if y'all get slapped, girl, don't be surprised. And basically, what it sounds like is Meredith went to Bronwyn. I think Brittany was vomiting. Meredith went to Bronwyn asking her, did Bronwyn, I can't remember exactly what she said, but she tried to basically equate that because what's the bitch name? I forgot her name. Brittany was drinking because Brittany was vomiting, that it had something to do with her drinking. Bronwyn just basically said, and I think this was when they were on the yacht. Because, remember Bronwyn and Brittany shared a room together. Bronwyn basically just said, yeah, girl, she did throw up. But Bronwyn didn't say that she threw up due to her drinking. But that's how Meredith framed it. So I guess when it got back to Lisa, so now they're basically trying to paint Brittany as an alcoholic. Whitney says, basically, did y'all hear when Whitney said, what are you doing? Girl, the same thing you doing, bitch. Girl, you accuse, girl, the same thing you doing. You accuse Lisa, you accuse Meredith of being an alkie who pop pills. Now Lisa accusing, what's the name of being an alcoholic? Just because you threw up one time. See, shit like that would piss me off. Okay, bitch, I threw up one time. And now, because I threw up one time, and it could be due to the fact that I did drink too much on vacation. Even if I wasn't on vacation, that don't mean I'm a fucking alcoholic. It might mean I'm a lightweight. It might even mean I drunk too much. Girl, but you're just not gonna slap an alcoholic title on me, bitch, because you found out I was, hurled a little. But Whitney was kind of right, though, at the same breath. Like, girl, y'all had a fit when I basically brought up that Meredith could be an alcoholic or an addict. Now, all of a sudden, you doing the same thing that y'all called me out for doing, which is true. And then Heather basically says that Brittany is more successful. No, she's more accomplished than a lot of us at the table. I don't know what Brittany does. I know, did she say she's a realtor? I know they showed a clip of her in a Tori Spelling movie. Was that a Tori Spelling movie? No shade to Tori Spelling. And I think she did Broadway, which is a great, accomplishment. I don't know what she did on Broadway. I don't know if she, I don't know nothing about Brittany. But the girls felt some way about Heather. This is what I want. And then Mary basically says, so you're her mouthpiece? Because you seem to go real hard. So this is my thing. Heather is right, though. There are multiple things that are right. It does look like a pile on with Brittany. And I just hate pal. I hate when it looks like somebody's getting ganged up on. I think sometimes it makes it a tad bit different when the person you're ganging up on, even though it's still wrong, but they can kind of hold their own. Like we've seen like Candace get piled on and she might be crying, but she gonna curse your ass out. We've seen Kenya work the whole room at the reunion. Her first reunion, Kenya was working the whole room. You see what I'm saying? So it makes it a tad bit different, even though I know the person could be tired, like, God damn, I'm really fighting everybody on this stage. But it does make a difference when a person is kind of not as, I don't want to say strong, but they're not as confrontational as some people are. And I just hate pile on sometimes. I really do. I really hate a pile on sometimes. So Heather was right about it does look like a pile on, but they were also right too, girl. The same way you said that Lisa needs to shut the fuck up and not talk for Meredith, you need to shut the fuck up and not talk for Brittany. It's really the same thing. The same way Whitney was low-key right too. The same way you got mad because I said that this heifer had an addiction problem, bitch, you just said she had an addiction problem too. So it is giving, right? They want the same. They have these rules, but they only want the rules to apply to different people. Now this is what I want. Y'all know Heather. Heather is my girl. We go back and forth. At one point at the beginning of the season, I said I had to release Heather back to the community. Excuse me. I need a Heather takedown season. I do. That's what I need. Heather's in charge of the girls. Please don't ever get it twisted. A lot of people don't want to admit it, but Heather is in charge of the girls. Heather is the anchor of the show. She might not be like the girl, because she's still kind of weak in a way. But Heather is in charge of the girls. I think it's time for Heather to have her day. Because I've noticed that Heather likes to, I just feel like Heather, if Jen Shaw was there, Jen Shaw would probably have Heather hiding in the closet. But I need a Heather takedown season. I would want to see how Heather, if the girls go after Heather, what she's going to do. Because I think the way they're going after Meredith, girl, by trying to paint the alcoholic, pill-popping, rich white woman, I think that's a very slippery road to go down. Yeah, I want a Heather takedown season. That's what I want. Oh, they got kicked out of the restaurant too. Girl, they got kicked out of the restaurant. Girl, the people don't give a fuck about y'all being. I keep trying to tell the people, girl, Housewives, while yes, it's, people all around the world can access the Housewives, watch the Housewives. Y'all ain't no Beyonce, Rihanna, Nicki Minaj. Y'all ain't these A-list girl. Y'all are literally called Bravo celebrities. So y'all think y'all can take y'all asses across the waters, cut up an act of food, and shoot a scene in a restaurant? Girl, them people not going for that shit. Girl, tell them, get their asses up out of here. Tell them we closed. Tell them we closed. Because they doing too much. They're knocking over wine and shit, hollering and screaming. Baby, this is not the type of establishment. Get their asses up out of here. Okay? Make sure they pay, and then tell them that we closed. Okay? Anyways, yeah, that's it, girl. All right, y'all. Next week is the season finale, and we'll talk more. If I forgot something, we'll just talk about it then. Bye, y'all.